AITA for refusing to help my sister plan her wedding after she demanded I cover half the costs and do all the organizing. This whole situation has been a huge mess, and I'm honestly torn about whether I'm in the wrong. I'm hoping you all can help me figure this out, because family drama is the last thing I want to be dealing with right now. A little background. I, 28F, have a younger sister, Emma, 25F. Growing up, we were pretty close, but as we got older, we drifted apart a bit. We still talk, but it's not like we're super tight. I've always been more of a practical, save-for-the-future type, while Emma is more spontaneous and tends to live in a moment. Emma got engaged last year to her boyfriend, Jake. They've been together about 3 years. I like Jake okay. He's decent enough, though sometimes I worry they move too fast with big decisions. Anyway, a few months ago, Emma started talking about the wedding. At first, it seemed pretty normal. She was excited talking about dates and venues and guest lists. Then about 2 months ago, she dropped a bombshell on me. She called and said she wanted me to help plan the wedding and, more importantly, wanted me to cover half the costs. I was floored. The wedding budget she sent me was huge, like $40,000 huge. The venue, catering, decorations, photographer, DJ, dresses, everything. I live paycheck to paycheck, and $20,000 is not something I can just shell out, especially on something I didn't expect. I told her I wasn't sure I could help financially, but I was happy to help with planning and organizing, like looking at venues or helping pick invitations. I wanted to be supportive in a way that I could afford. But she insisted that the only way the wedding would happen the way she wanted was if I paid half. She said she'd been counting on me and that Jake's family wasn't contributing much. I found this hard to believe because Jake's parents are pretty well off. I asked Emma why she thought it was fair to ask me to cover half the cost. She said it's her big day, but as her sister and someone she's close to, it's normal for siblings to pitch in. She added that it's also partly a way for me to show I care about her. I was stunned. My sister was basically telling me that if I didn't pay, I didn't care about her or our relationship. I explained that I didn't have the money and couldn't commit to such a huge financial responsibility. I suggested that maybe we could scale the wedding down or find cheaper options, but she refused. She said the wedding has to be perfect and that she'd rather postpone it until she got the funds than have a smaller event. At this point, I started to distance myself. I told her I was sorry, but I just couldn't be part of the financial side of the planning. I still offered to help with other stuff that didn't cost money, but she started to get short with me. She stopped responding to my texts and eventually told me over the phone that she was disappointed and felt like I was abandoning her. Now, here's where things got worse. Our parents found out about the argument, and they sided with Emma. They said it's normal for siblings to help out with weddings, and that I was being selfish. I tried to explain my financial situation, but they brushed it off, saying that family should support family no matter what. My friends are divided too. Some say Emma is entitled to ask, but it's unfair to expect me to pay so much when I can't afford it. Others think I should have at least tried harder or asked for a loan to help. Since then, Emma has been planning the wedding without me. She's hired a wedding planner and said she'll be paying for it with her savings and Jake's family. But honestly, I feel hurt and betrayed. I don't want to pay more than I can handle, but I also don't want to lose my sister over this. The wedding is in 3 months, and we barely speak. So, AITA for refusing to help my sister financially with her wedding and for not wanting to be the main planner after she demanded I cover half the costs? Or is Emma being unreasonable expecting me to take on such a huge financial burden? I really want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to let my sister bring her new boyfriend to my wedding, even though he's the father of her child. I, 29F, am getting married in about 3 months, and it's been a roller coaster planning process, to say the least. My fiancé, 31M, and I have tried to keep things as simple and drama-free as possible, but there's one issue with my sister, 27F, that has caused a huge rift in our family. I'm still unsure if I'm the asshole or if I'm justified, so here I am. A bit of backstory first. My sister, let's call her Emily, has always been a bit unpredictable when it comes to relationships. Over the years, she's had a few serious boyfriends, but things never lasted long. About 2 years ago, she met a guy named Josh. They hit it off quickly, and soon after, Emily got pregnant. Josh and Emily have a child together now, almost 1 year old. Here's where things get complicated. Josh has a very questionable background. He's been involved in some shady stuff, minor legal issues, a past history of substance abuse, and frankly, he has a pretty aggressive temper. I don't want to sound judgmental, but he's the kind of person who's been on the wrong side of many family members' instincts, including mine. Emily and Josh are no longer together, but she has remained civil with him for the sake of their child. She lets him see the baby regularly and even tries to coordinate family events so he can be involved. While I respect her choice as a mother, I personally don't feel comfortable having Josh at big family events. The last time he was at a family barbecue, he made several people uneasy with his behavior. He got loud, tried to intimidate some distant relatives, and generally acted out of line. Emily assured everyone it wouldn't happen again, but honestly, I don't trust him around my friends and extended family. So fast forward to now. Emily has made it clear she expects Josh to be invited to the wedding. She says he's the father of her child and should be included because the baby will be there. I responded by telling her that while the baby is obviously welcome, I love my nephew and I want him to be part of the day. Josh is not invited. I explained my concerns to Emily, that I don't want to put my guests in an uncomfortable position, and that the wedding should be a safe, joyful event for everyone. Emily immediately got defensive and said I was being unfair, controlling, and disrespectful. She argued that Josh has been making positive changes and I'm not giving him a chance. She also accused me of trying to exclude her boyfriend out of spite or jealousy, which is not true. I don't know Josh well enough to be jealous of him, and frankly, I don't think he's the right fit for the kind of environment we want at our wedding. We tried talking it out multiple times, but every time it just escalates. Emily threatens that if Josh isn't invited, she might not come at all, and I'm terrified of that because I want my sister there. Our parents are stuck in the middle, not wanting to upset either of us, and honestly, the tension has been ruining what should be the happiest time of my life. To add another layer, Josh has been pushing Emily to invite his family as well, which would double the guest list and cause a lot of logistical headaches. My fiancé and I are already working with a tight budget and guest list. I told Emily this isn't just about Josh's behavior, but also about practical limitations. Emily says I'm being unreasonable and selfish. I asked my parents and close friends for advice, and opinions are split. Some say I'm justified because I'm hosting the wedding and should be able to decide who attends. Others say I should be more accommodating, especially since Emily is a big part of my life and this new relationship is important to her. I just want to be clear that this isn't about punishing Emily or controlling her life. I want to keep the day peaceful and enjoyable for everyone. I want my sister there, but I don't want the guy who has made my family uncomfortable at my wedding. Am I the asshole here? AITA for refusing to take care of my sister's kids during her wedding because of how she treated me? This happened over the past year, and honestly, I'm still trying to figure out if I'm in the wrong or if my sister is being unreasonable. I, 29F, have a younger sister, Emily, 26F, and we've always had a complicated relationship. Growing up, Emily got most of the attention because she was the golden child, great at school, super outgoing, always the center of attention. I was more introverted, struggled a bit with anxiety, and didn't always meet the expectations my parents had for me. Emily was often the favorite, and I got used to feeling a little invisible around her. We weren't super close growing up, but I always tried to be there for her when she needed me. I helped her with college apps, listened to her relationship drama, and so on. However, she never really reciprocated that support in the way I hoped. If I was going through something, Emily usually brushed it off or made it about herself. Fast forward to last year. Emily got engaged to her fiancé, Josh, and immediately started planning a big wedding. I was happy for her, genuinely, but she quickly started pressuring me about my role in the wedding. She wanted me to be one of her bridesmaids, which I was okay with, but it came with strings attached. Emily has two young kids from a previous relationship, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. Their dad isn't in the picture, so Emily does most of the parenting on her own. When the wedding planning ramped up, she asked if I could help watch the kids on the day of the wedding. At first, I was fine with it because it didn't seem like a big deal. However, Emily's attitude toward me during the whole process started to change. She'd make snide comments about how I never do enough for the family and remind me that since I didn't have kids, I had no excuse not to help her out. She also guilt-tripped me about how she's been doing everything alone and how I was being selfish for not stepping up more. The real breaking point came when she asked me to watch the kids, not just for the wedding day, but also for a week leading up to the event, as she had to handle last-minute stuff, meet with vendors, and so on. I work full-time and also go to grad school part-time. Taking care of two young kids for a week straight was not something I could realistically do without sacrificing my own responsibilities and mental health. I tried explaining this to Emily, but she blew up. She accused me of being lazy and uncaring and said that if I really cared about her and her family, I'd find a way to help. She told me that Josh's family was already upset that her sister, me, wasn't pitching in enough, and it was embarrassing for her. At that point, I said no. I told her I could help on the wedding day for a few hours, but I couldn't commit to a whole week. Emily then started ignoring my calls and texts. A mutual friend reached out to me, saying Emily was telling everyone I was a bad sister who abandoned her at her time of need. The wedding came and went. I helped watch the kids for about 3 hours during the reception. Emily barely acknowledged my help, and after the event, the tension between us exploded. She sent me a long message accusing me of being selfish and unsupportive and said she didn't know if she could trust me anymore. I haven't spoken to her much since. Our parents say I should try to reconcile, but I'm hurt by how she treated me and how she assumed I had endless free time and energy. At the same time, I wonder if I should have done more to support her, because family should stick together. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to take care of my sister's kids for a whole week before her wedding when she expected me to? Was I being selfish or just realistic about my limits? Or is Emily being unfair to expect so much from me without considering my life and struggles?